The 90s nostalgia is through the roof. The show is about how the UK Customs Agency in the early 90s are struggling with the sudden rise of drug related deaths in and around Liverpool and London. With no money, no time, and no resources, the Customs Agency must find new recruits from all walks of life to end the war on drugs in the UK. The show is really great, and Steve Coogan, as the head of the agents, is really compelling. He knows when to pull back, but also knows when to step in as and when needed. It's normal people thrust into extraordinary situations, and you feel every minute of it. From the old telephones to paper, ancient cars, and clothing styles bring you into that world and set you into that time period. The show is really good so far, and the acting is far more professional than other previous British Netflix shows such as Three Body Problem and Runaway, who have an air of amateur about them that you simply can't unhear. The story starts off with Don, Steve Coogan's character, who is a former undercover customs agent himself, but is now high up and is running the agents, and now has been tasked to find new ways to infiltrate the drug cartels that are importing the drugs into the UK. And so he decides to hatch a plan that will get new recruits from different departments in the customs agencies, and that will bring fresh new life into the investigations and into the undercover units that he is going to be running. And so he puts out flyers all across the different departments and gets people from all walks of life, and lots of people turning up to try out for these positions as undercover agents, and people from different backgrounds, from baggage to working in custom offices and going door to door and picking up contraband that normal people have somehow managed to smuggle into the UK. And so all these different types of people have applied for this role. Over time, they get weeded out, and only a handful of people make it. And so they don't even know what they are putting in for and don't even know what the mission is. And it's not until when the recruits complete the training that they are told that they are up against the war on drugs and the import and export of them coming into the country. So they are told that basically they're going to be cracking down on heroin after a couple of deaths that hit the mainstream news and has spread outrage across the UK. And so the government are now cracking down on these drugs trying to come in. And so they have recruited these 5 people who have various different backgrounds and various different skill sets and split them off. One person going to London, who's the undercover called Guy, and he's teamed up with Greek former drug lord who's in prison and's got a few more months left in his sentence. And so they recruit Milanas, who is this wild card, sort of crazy Greek drug dealer, and that's what they're focusing on. They're going to be focusing on the Greek drug gangs as well as the Turkish, who are at war with each other for domination over the streets of London and Liverpool and across the UK. And so Guy has to infiltrate these gangs with the help of Milanas. Then there's also a surveillance operation going on in Liverpool with the other 2 recruits that have paired up. And so over time, they have to figure out what's going on without being caught. So this show is really great so far. I've only watched the first 2 episodes, and the acting is tremendous, especially from Steve Coogan, the head of the agents, Don, who is very sort of harsh but fair, but also knows when to pull out and sort of step in as and when needed. He's sort of like the support to the agents, and you can tell like he sort of really cares for them, and you can tell that he wants them to succeed, and he works around the system, which is really cool because it shows how his ingenuity works, and he gets things from like the impound from old cases that he can bring into his world of customs, and he just thinks on his feet like the other agents have to as well. And what's really good is that they all work together and they all have their own skill set. And there's one of the agents who worked in an office, and she was really good at like compiling different personalities for the agents and compiling the evidence and creating the bureaucratic support they need to do the missions. And then you've got Guy, who's really good at thinking on his feet and building connections and coming under the radar and creating his new characters and really selling them as well. And that really sort of great world building, it puts you right in there. You really feel the intensity of each moment when they're undercover, because one false move and that's it. They're gone. That's the game over. And they've poured everything into this operation because it's coming from above, and they're expecting results, and so one false move, it's like that's it, done. And so they have to be really fruitful of what they've got and their skills, and choose their moments when to push forward and pull back. And so it's really, really great writing, and especially being set in the 90s, where you have no sat nav, you have no iPhones or Google or technology that we have today. And so that creates an element of intensity that would otherwise be missed in like a modern day thriller, where you would have all this technology at disposal. Whereas here, they're just using their wits and their brain and working together as a team, which is really cool. And you see that up on screen. The characters are really great as well, like especially the side characters. Milanas, by far, I think, is the standout side character who helps Guy infiltrate the Greek and Turkish gangs in London. And he's very erratic, and his behavior is really sort of up and down. And it kind of reminds me of the relationship in Training Day. It's very much a fish out of water story, but as time goes on, he builds up his character and he gets an idea and a lay of the land and what to do, and he sort of progresses as the show has gone on, which is really good to see, which is great writing as well. So you don't just see him just try and struggle all the way through it, like he's actually picking it up as he goes along. Just great character work from Guy's perspective. And it's like that with all the characters as well. They use their initiative as and when they need to. So this show does a lot of good things right. It really sets you into that 90s nostalgic mode, and you really get a sense of world building in this, with the exterior sensory details like the old phones and the costumes, and using paper and pen to write everything down. And so all these sort of little tactile stuff that you just really get a sense of where you are and when you are. And also the old vehicles from like Ford Escort and the big Ford vans that you see, and it's all world building which gets you into that time, which is really clever. And God knows how they got all those vehicles in, because I'm pretty sure there's not many of them still about. So how they managed it, I don't know. But it's very, very good. Very good so far. It's definitely worth your time. It's very gritty. It's on edge. It's edge of your seat stuff, and it's really, really tense at times. And you're sitting there and you're like, oh, I wouldn't do that. Oh, it makes you want to sort of walk around the town like looking over your shoulder. That's like how deep it goes. And yeah, it's really great. Really can't fault it. The acting is great across the board from all the actors. Like Steve Coogan's the only one I sort of really know of, but the supporting cast are amazing. And I think I've seen Tom Burke in a few other things before, who plays Guy. But yeah, by far, I think the best supporting actor out of them is Milanas, who is played by Gerald Kidd. And he is terrific. Like, he's wonderful as the Greek insider that they use to try and get their contacts and get Guy into those gangs. So yeah, overall, very, very good. Definitely check it out. It's on Netflix. I think there's only 6 episodes. They're about an hour long, and yeah, definitely worth your time. So thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe to my channel, and I shall see you in the next video.